Blessed good afternoon to each and everyone. Welcome to U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper. This is douglAr Radio and your host truly Victor Roberts in the inside alongside with the man himself. None other than Redison Jeffrey. All right. Welcome to all our listeners.
Yes, good evening.
Our viewers locally, internationally, regionally, Jet Li, Bruce Lee, and all the Lees that go with it. All right? So we inside. Remember tonight, douglAr Politics, 7:30. We will be handing over. We will be crossing over for douglAr Politics, where the giant, the Honorable Anil Roberts will bring some facts to you this afternoon. You stand by, stay tuned, make your coffee, have your cricks, have everything prepared because it wouldn't be easy. Ladies and gentlemen, I wonder if I should go there this afternoon. I am wondering if I should deal with the break-in at the bungalow in Petrotrin, where sensitive files in relation to sensitive investigations. I wonder if I should go there. Koki, I wonder if I should go there because of the time constraint this afternoon. If I would be able to deal with everything. That is what I'm wondering. If I should go there.
You can touch on it if you want, you're the boss.
So we'll leave that for Sunday.
All right.
Facts Not Fiction on Sunday.
Yes.
At 7:30, tune in and we will deal with that bungalow issue with sensitive files, with sensitive investigation, with sensitive people, with Prime Minister's sensitive friend, and all that goes with it. So we will deal with that on Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off this afternoon, I want to ask you, the people on the outside, how you feeling? How you feeling on the outside?
Sad.
What is your mindset this afternoon? What are you thinking this afternoon? What you are crying for this afternoon? Is everything all right? Is there food on the table? Did you pay your bills this month end? Did your food card had money on it?
Right.
What about the water? What about the water situation? You could flush your toilets?
I wonder if they fix that leak in Cascade, Victor, where you went up there. I wonder.
Cascade, call in and tell me if they fix that leak, boy. Call us and let us know if they fix that leak. But what is your mindset this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen in Trinidad and Tobago? How you feeling? How you thinking? What is your emotion level this afternoon? Talk to me. Tell me.
Want to know?
You see, I want to say this evening something that you hear, something that people speak into your hearing. But I want to ask if you really, really understand. Jeffrey, I want to ask them if they understand that election have consequences.
Yes.
Why?
And what is the consequences that an election
Could bring about. You just get enemies in it.
could bring about in your life? What is the consequences that an election could bring about in your life? You see, an election, ladies and gentlemen, it is the process by which you chart the future of a country. An election, ladies and gentlemen, it is where you, the population, decides the future of a country.
Yeah.
An election, ladies and gentlemen, it is when you, the people, have a desire as to what you will like to see in the future within the present of your country.
Yeah.
We go get rough here this evening with this little time we have.
So buckle up, buckle up.
We're going to get rough.
Or you need a seat belt and a helmet.
Put it on.
Put it on. It's going to get rough here.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is you.
Yeah.
It is you who have us in this condition.
Mm-hmm.
It is you, ladies and gentlemen, who have this country on the brink of the precipice by your decision. It is you, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
that have this country at a point where the youths, the future generation, have no idea as to where they will end up in our society.
Yeah.
It is you, ladies and gentlemen, by your behavior, by your thinking, by your level of maturity, that have yourself in the pasture where very soon you may very well have to eat grass. Grass. It is your decision that the sheep and the goats and the cattle may very well die out in our country because you may very well take the place of those animals. You see, while you sit in your homes and you receive a pension, while you sit in your homes and you are quite comfortable, when the mailman or woman pass by your house between the 29th and the 1st, it is you who have encouraged, it is you who have instilled, it is you who have brought your children to believe that mediocrity is sufficient. It is you, my parents, and your parents, and my grandparents, and your grandparents. It is you who today we are reaping the fruits of your labor. It is you who have sown the seed of voting on race and not policy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is you who teach us that it matters not what those of the color of your skin and the texture of your hair do to you, as long as it is your own. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are now reaping the fruits as a result of the trees that you folks have planted within our soil. You see, what our grandparents and our parents never catered for in this society, they did not cater that some of us and our generations will develop and would be educated and would be in a position where we would have had to bring and decide our own family. You see, sometimes because of selfishness, our parents and grandparents, they look only at what they could see. They had not the vision to look to see the development of a country. And when a country grows to the point of development, those with wisdom, those with foresight, those with biblical, intellectual, would understand that the development of a country can only be successful when there is development of your people. You see, it is your people, it is your citizens, it is them who can build, who can uplift, who can move your country forward when you, the voting population, get the foresight to understand that developing a nation can only come when your minds are developed to accept those in leadership with vision, with foresight, with policies to move your country forward. You see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today you must decide where this country go from here. You will have to decide where we go from here. Because we have seen, we have heard, we have experienced the most brutal attack on our democracy, which is by extension a brutal attack on humanity. And while we sit, and while some of you now seeing the light, it is a matter of fact, it is as though you are in shock with the light that we are now bringing, so that you could understand the darkness that you are in. Welcome, caller.
Yes, man. The fox inside. The fox inside.
Fox, you're early on the gun these days, boy.
Yes, man. I had to come on the gun these days because, I had to touch the trigger first, man.
Go ahead.
Yes, man. I want to ask the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are you happy? Are you happy with what is happening with all our lives in this country? I want to ask the people of Trinidad and Tobago, how can you watch the evil that the PNM is doing to Keith Christopher Rowley, right? Is doing to us to keep carnival in a pandemic. Old people always say, laugh and cry live in the same house.
True.
Laugh and cry live in the same house. And it is time for us as a people to stop straying from one another. We are intelligent people in this country. I don't understand how so much of bright and brilliant people in the country have one Keith Christopher Rowley, have us under this kind of pressure. They're doing the old people, they're doing us all kind of things, and nobody's coming out and getting up and to move these people. Enough is enough. We have taken enough. It's time for this to stop. It is time for this to stop. And it's time for all this talking to done, because we could talk from now till the next 3 years. It's time for it to done. It's time for we to get out there or something. Something has to be done. We can't take no more of this. And I'm calling on Tobagonians, all Tobagonians, to get up and move Kojo and West Saroy from power in Tobago. Yeah. We don't want them. We don't want PNM no more. Long live PDP and remove PNM. Thank you.
Thank you, Silver Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, as you see the splinter of the starlight, that should be enough for you to understand that you are in darkness, that you in a very dark position. And if I, ladies and gentlemen, were you, I would have been heading in the direction of that spark that is now set in this country.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, we live in Labre.
Yeah.
We grow in Labre.
Yeah.
We eat in Labre.
Yeah.
We sleep in Labre.
Yeah.
Take it, don't afraid, you take the calls. You just take the calls. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Yes,
afternoon.
Okay, I wouldn't say where I'm calling from. Not as yet. Okay?
Yeah.
I will tell you off the air, but not on the air. When I called to see, I heard a woman this morning praying for the Prime Minister that no weapon that form against him should prosper. You could imagine that lady? She can't even see from she front door to she toilet door. These people are so blind. I don't know what's wrong with them, This man is the devil in this country. I wouldn't even say the devil, the beast in the country, and everybody that they're just following the beast.
Wow.
Imagine that. You understand? The eye go open. When the Iranian and them come and take over Trinidad and Tobago, the eye go open because you had nothing left for nobody. You understand? That is the only time they will see. And let me tell you again, when you started your program, you and Anil, please open it with a word of prayer. You understand? Because nothing can happen without God intervention. Start it with a word of prayer, and when you finish, end it with a word of prayer so that the devil can't follow you home, please, that angels will follow you home. So I will tell you my name now if you want to hear it.
Go ahead.
Not my name, where I'm calling from.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm calling from Tobago too, so I don't want to really put it on the air.
All right, then,
Right.
caller.
Beautiful.
Oh.
And I know
Okay.
that, I know that. I say, but let me leave you. I know where you're calling from. Thank you, caller. And caller, we will tell you. We do start with a prayer, not on the air, but we do start with a prayer.
Put it on the air.
And if it means
Put it on.
that it have to be on the air,
Yes.
that we would do. That we would do.
Demons in the air too, so we have to
Yes,
put
that
it in
we
the
will do.
atmosphere.
So thank you, Tobago. We do appreciate
Yes.
your call.
Floating up there.
We live in Labre, sleep, breathe in Labre.
Uh-huh.
Labre Koki
Yes.
was PNM.
Okay.
In 1986, Labre did what they about to do whenever the next election call.
Right.
And the reason why Labre would do just what happened in 1986, it is because we are opening the eyes of the people in Labre. You see, Koki, Labre is a constituency that these people rob.
Plunder.
I mean, rob,
Oh my gosh.
abuse, and the people in Labre, they are at that point where they just cannot take anymore.
Yeah.
And that is why I would not support. I will not support when the people speaks of the people in Labre
Right.
will always vote PNM. I'm not supporting that. And I'm not supporting that because of facts and evidence.
Yeah.
The fact and the evidence is there.
Yeah.
In 1986, they vote out the PNM. And I know, I have confidence in the people of Labre Jeffrey
Yeah.
that they will get rid of this PNM whenever an election is called.
It's about time. It's about time.
Tell them why, Jeffrey. Tell them why they have to vote out the PNM.
In Labre, we have been run by the PNM government for quite a while. We have been voting for the PNM government for quite a while. I could tell you that because I come from in the heart of PNM. And we was to grow up in a kind of way to feel like if the PNM is we party. That is the doctrine that they used to preach to we when we were small. So when they do something wrong, we must turn we back and say, well, that we brother or that we sister, let me take that. But no more, because the plunder the people are Labre. There's a pitch lake, no activities, the contracting it out, the works there to whoever they feel. There are two massive industry down there. And people, nobody down there ain't getting no work down there at all. You know? It's every day the paint and narrative that the Labre people like to protest under the smoke. well, they like to say that they can't pass a drug test. You understand? So that is what they have. That the pity they're trying to paint. Just how they're trying to paint a pity about the people in the Beatum. They're doing the same thing about the people in Library. And trust me, right about now, we reached to the brink. We reached a spot that we can't take it no more again. We can't take that. And the people started crying out. And the people who answered the call, they started fight them. They started say all kind of nasty thing about them. And here why I telling you tonight, according to the words in the Bible, they say the sheep know the voice of the shepherd. And all the lies that they're spewing in the public, because, boy, I don't want to say it, because the liberator have shown his face. They're coming with all kind of lies and all kind of deceitful talk. And here I telling you, don't listen to that voice. That is the voice of the Antichrist. So wherever the voice that is broadcasting these lies, people, brother, turn off the frequency. Because what are you hearing here tonight is the truth. I will never, hear what I'm telling you. Let me tell you one time. When they see me started talk and started talk out about certain things, they contact me. They say, why you don't come back? Why you don't come back home, Jeffrey? What you doing? Why you don't come back here? And I say, boy, here what's going on? Regardless to the fact that what's taking place, there are people all over the place seeing injustice taking place, and they ain't saying nothing because they buy them out. Nobody in paying me to say what I saying. What I saying coming from my heart. And people, stop listening to propaganda. Stop listening to the lies that you're hearing. If anybody want to find out anything about me, go down in my area. Me not hiding. But I'm telling you, where the truth come in here, the devil uneasy. And don't worry yourself. You see the prayers of my villagers, the prayers of my mother and my father that passed away last year, it with me. So what Oya is saying here, it can't stop. It affecting Oya. And that's why Oya acting up so. That is why Oya getting on in that kind of manner. But Library will come back to the people. We will take back Library in that election coming. Yeah. That is what it is. The people go open their eye now. The truth is coming. And that's why I come here and stand up with Victor. He's a man where the truth is coming from.
Liberate them, man.
And people, the people in Library who locked on and listening, I know haters hear me when I come up here. You know. Oh yeah, but we want to know what's going on here. But me enjoying me following no blind leader. You know. Yeah. I following a man who is coming with the facts. That's why I following. Me come and say, well, Victor, I like you. I say I like what you're doing. And what you're doing for the people at Library. No MP, no councillor, never do that. It's hampers coming out. It's all kind of thing. Last week, Saturday, Sunday, we had a cook. And people want to come back there. Like Oye understanding what's going on now. So when Oye started think and started talk about this one and that one, it's the enemy. Or the liberation is coming. When Pharaoh know that Moses have arrived, he fight him down. God was to send plagues. Because it wasn't, boy. He didn't want them to go, but he wanted people to make up their mind. Oh, yeah, have to take that leap of faith. Let us bring back Labre to the people. Let him bring it back to where it was. Labre was a place that was the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. Labre built Port of Spain. And where we living like dog down there.
Talk, Jeffrey, talk. No afraid, talk.
The pitch lake closing down. Man begging for the salary. And we had to bring back this thing. And you're studying this. And you're studying that. Let me bring back Labre. The people can't take it again. I can't take it again. And Victor can't take it again. And we can't do it without the help of oil. Without oil support. We can't do it. I want back Labre. I born there. I grew there. My father born there too. He grew there and he dead there too. I want back Labre. That way it is.
Anybody, everybody, anybody in Labre that telling you, the people, not to listen to us, they are your enemies.
Yeah.
We are not here to ask you to mind us. We are here to ask you collectively, let us prepare for the future of our children in Labre. They have taught us that that is our party. But if that is our party, after 47 years, why are we still hungry?
Yeah.
If that is our party, after 47 years, why we are still living in those plywood structures?
Yeah.
If that is our party, after 47 years, why are we still uneducated? If that is our party, after 47 years, ladies and gentlemen, how come that we are unemployed? Jeffrey just said it. A place like Labre, the place that built Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and other countries benefited from our resources.
Yeah.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, because of corrupt politicians, for over 47 years, we are in a position where every other Caribbean country, those with oil and those without, they are the star boys and star girls of the Caribbean. Labre, the revolution must start with you. We must show this country that we mean business. We must show the rest of this country, Labre, that men, women, and children, all of us, we are filled with fortitude. We must set the stage for others to follow. Because if they have advantages and took away the wealth from our children, from the future generation, we must set the stage. I remember that there was a man by the name of Chuba Uriah Buzz Butler. a man who fought
Yes.
for the people of the Southland and by extension the country. And that man today, I am saying that if his spirit could only see what his followers have done to us, he will be, that spirit would not be able to rest.
Yeah.
But we must allow Butler's spirit to understand that we in Library, that we the people, we have allowed his spirit to manifest in us, and therefore we will set the stage for good governance in this country. It matters not if it's PNM, UNC, PDP, or whoever. Good governance is what we must stand for. It is what we must fight for, and it is what we must strive. It is what we must strive
Strive for. We go
for.
strive for that.
I thought he was going to say die for.
Oh, Cocky, the people can't take
Nah, we can't take it.
the real talk, Cocky. They can't take the real talk, Cocky. You have to understand that we have to build the people confidence in this country that there is a few men and women who will stand in the gap for fairness, justice, and equity. Something that this country have not seen for the past 6 years and beyond.
Yeah.
You see, we're afraid to bring it real.
Real.
We're afraid to call a donkey a donkey. There are those in office will tell you that that's what you know as a donkey. They will tell you it's a racehorse. And there are those who will believe it.
Yeah.
That is the sad part. You know why they will believe it? Because they have allowed themselves to be blinded by a few dollars. You see that few dollars more cocky? It is what have us in this position. Some people will do anything for it. They will sell their brother. They will sell their mother. They will sell their father. They will sell their baby. But the worst of them all is those who will sell a generation.
My God.
That is the worst of them all. Those who will sell a generation. That is the devil. That is the evil. And that is what we will fight against, starting in Library.
Yeah.
I am saying, Cocky, that there is some of those in Library too, you know. There are some of those done by us. Cocky, there are those who don't care about the future generation. I want to ask the youths in Library, What have you achieved under the 47 years of the color of your skin
Some
and
ganja
the
trees.
texture of your hair?
Some ganja trees.
Corky said,
Well, that is what they're trying to tell we.
Some ganja trees.
That is what they're trying to say. And watchmen, that is what we're fighting against in Labrador. There are people that will still try to sell the generation that growing up now. And that is what we're here to rescue.
Smoke them trees there. Cool yourself.
Corky, we will root them trees up in Labrador, Corky.
It's coming out.
We will root it up.
I was afraid.
We will let the youths know
Yes.
that this is the type of evil that this government brought upon them. Okay, let me tell you the evil. All the jobs in Labrador, let us do a census
Yeah.
and see how many people from Labrador employed in Labrador.
Wow.
And you know what they will tell you? They will tell you that they are unskilled, that they are untrained. And the last thing that they say to you is that there are drugs in their system.
Huh.
That is the last line of defense. They cannot pass a drug test. That is what they will say about the youths.
And they give them the trees to smoke.
Well, youths, let me tell you something.
Way better than that.
All you better than that.
Right.
We intend to work with you.
Right.
And while you clean up your act,
Yes.
we would ensure that employment comes to Labrador
Yeah.
that would facilitate every aspect of society in Labrador.
Labrador.
Those of you who needs to be trained, we are saying that we will bring programs
Yeah.
Big up Labrador.
in Labrador to train you
Yes.
to be prepared for the shipyard, for the dockyard, for whatever coming to Labrador. Those of you who needs a skill, we will bring that skill bank down to Labrador,
Yeah.
where we will have you to be trained, whether in carpentry, welding,
Yes.
afraid to say underwater diving.
Go say
But
that.
we will bring the necessary skill to Labrador where you can be trained.
Right.
We are going to bring in the NESC, even the one that they closed down in Palo Seco. We will have them up and running and bring the necessary courses to suit the dynamics of your constituency and the neighboring constituency, while we prepare some of you for national and international employment in Labrador. We are going to make Labrador the gem that it once were in this Trinidad and Tobago. Bring it, Cocky.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Sport is in trouble. What can be done to save sports in TNT? Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you, the fans, as we bring positive change through sport.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
218-7762. We will be crossing over to douglAr politics.
Yes.
So call now. Make your contribution.
Short and sweet.
Short and
Yes,
sweet, short and
Labre. Labre, oh, Labre.
Mother come down to Labre, boy.
Labre, we will fix it. We're going to fix it in Labre. Don't be afraid. We're going to fix it. I am saying to you, Labre, you have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
If you already lose for 47 years,
Yeah.
what you could lose,
Nothing to lose.
what you could lose now, with our intention
Could only
to
gain.
bring Labre back, to bring Labre back to the status that it had before.
Yeah.
You see, I want to tell you something, you know. I want to tell you something, Labre.
Yes.
Don't feel or you could blame the UNC for Labre, you know. And mind you, I ain't saying, I'm not saying that the UNC wouldn't get some tap and clout between 2010 and 2015, you know. I ain't saying that. Don't feel as saying that the UNC was infallible. I ain't saying that. But I'm saying, or you cannot blame the UNC for the condition in Labre. That is what I'm saying. I'm making it plain. I ain't talking boat, helicopter, or submarine.
Abundantly clear.
Plain I'm making it. We in Labre, our parents, my mother somewhere in the States now, and I know she hearing me. Mommy, you to blame too.
Oh gosh, mommy.
You to blame too, mother.
What?
I love you. I'll never stop loving you. And woe be on to those who offend you, mommy.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
Yes.
you to blame too.
Love your mama.
You to blame too, mommy. Because you supported them, you know. And you teach all of us, you and daddy, to support them too. But thank God that he opened our eyes so we can see the enemy. And today, your children, we are free from the bondage of the PNM. Take that call. Take it.
Good evening, caller.
I wonder if it's mommy.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
So I'd like to say, one of my friends just told me what's up.
Yeah.
She went today to see about the food card, right? There's no money in the food card, no funds.
What?
So I don't know what this government really doing to the poor people,
Killing them out.
right? Hello?
Punishing them.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. They're
Yes,
punishing
hello?
the poor people.
Yeah, good evening.
We hearing you?
Apparently,
lost you there.
she not hearing us.
Yeah. What we were saying is that they're killing out the poor people. When they ain't kill them out in the healthcare system, they're allowing them to die on the streets by gun violence. And when they ain't die on the streets by gun violence, we get the police more guns, more ammunition, more vehicle to finish kill them out. And when that ain't happen, some of us killing out each other to survive
Oh, God.
under this wicked, evil, devilish government
Preach
that
it.
we have in power.
And good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Hello?
All right, we lost it.
We lost that call.
Call back, caller.
218-7762. 218-7762.
Hello?
Good evening, caller.
Hello?
Apparently, we have another technical. Let's see. Hello, caller. Something wrong.
Try back, caller. Something wrong. Either your phone, look, we get a call. Try this one and see what's going on. Yeah, try this one.
Hello.
Right, we back on. We back on. This one,
back
just,
on.
yeah, we
Yeah,
back
yeah.
on. So caller, call back. 218-7762. 218-7762.
Yes.
Koki,
Hmm?
thank God we see the light.
Yes, boy.
Koki, in our home, it was nothing but PNM. It was nothing but PNM. And that is why, Koki,
But just picture how worse it could get if, in terms of the war, if it escalates to a more point that they would take that and beat we down again.
Koki, we are we own war here.
Oh my gosh.
And we war in this country is this Russian Venezuelan coalition government that we have in place in Trinidad and Tobago here. What we have here is Russian Venezuela mixing.
All right.
That is what we're dealing with, you know. It's Putin and Maduro, you know. This prime minister abusing we on one hand and displacing we on the other, you know. Corky, when our government could take away employment from its citizens, Corky, it is a line to genocide. When they could take away your employment and then they could break your houses and then they could escalate the food price and then they could stop your food card. Corky, it is kill they're trying to kill we. That is what happening. Yeah, now we missed a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're working on the phone lines. We are in a serious state in this country. A very serious state. 218-7762. Try back the call. Let's see what's going on here with this board. We are at a state in this country. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So we back on track here now. Try back your call. Cut off here. Labre, we going to work together, Labre. We going to build this thing together, Labre. We would allow the people in Labre to decide what they need in Labre. We are not going to allow anybody to do what they are accustomed doing in Labre. Building our hopes on nothing else than promises. We going to change the diaspora in relation to that behavior that we experience in Labre over the years. Jeffrey, just imagine a people who support a people.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying, it, you know. A people who support a people for all these years. And today, Jeffrey,
Still in the same
we
condition.
are in the worst condition. If you're measuring constituency, Jeffrey, Labre is the worst. You hear what I'm telling you? Every other constituency better than Labre. You name one constituency in this country that is in the condition of Labre, using the measuring stick as to the number of resources we have within the constituency. You see, Labre is not a hungry place.
At all.
Labre is a place with resources. Labre is a place with minerals. But yet, within the resources in Labre, to the end of the day, we are still the most backward people in Trinidad and Tobago.
That is true.
My question is why? Somebody had to tell me why. Somebody had to explain to me why we are in this condition. And if you can't explain it to me, then that is what me and Jeffrey explaining to you. We have to work together. We have to build a future together in Labre, away from what you have been experiencing for over the past 47 plus years. But how long
we go take that?
we will wait to make the necessary moves, the butler type of behavior.
Yeah. We need that.
That is what is needed immediately. The butler type of behavior. I know that we have some people in Labre who like history, who could go back and relate to the history of Butler, who could go back and share with you, the people, the great struggle that took place where this man, this big beard man, stood up in the gap, fight the battle, setting a new precedent in this country. A precedent that the labor force, that the labor union, capsized. But I am saying that the people in South, we are fighters.
Yes.
We ain't no redfish. We ain't no black molly. We ain't no guppy. We are fighters. We don't afraid to fight. And we don't afraid to fight for the right thing. Look at something. Look at something. Look at the crime rate in this country. We don't elaborate. It's really a drop in the bucket, you know. We ain't all that bad in terms of serious crime in Labre, you know. We are at a place where we could salvage our constituency and bring that constituency to the place where this country must be jealous, you know. We have it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have it. The problem with it is that we have not yet place tremendous value on the natural resources that we have in Labre. Labre should have been a model constituency. Labre should have been a constituency where people from all over the world, a matter of fact, Jeffrey, Labre should also be a tourist destination in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, we had some good beaches in Labre.
Yeah, but we was there weekend.
We was there weekend. We have some beaches, Corky, that just needs to be developed. Right. We have one of the world's greatest wonder. We have it in Labre. We have everything in Labre. All we need to have in Labre now is a level head and common sense.
Yeah. The stupid doctrine.
I just tell you,
that
Corky,
was preached to babies. It was the sick. They give them the doctrine before they are sense in it. That they can differentiate the two in it. They didn't put the two and tell them choose in it. They just put them in front of the face.
Jeffrey, within the Muslim community, the Muslim community teaches that when a child is born, that you go to the air and you recite the Fatiha in the air of the child. Mm-hmm. And it seems as though that every child that is born in these constituencies like Labre, San Fernando West, Lavantine, Diego Martin, it seems as though that they squeeze a little drop of that Balize juice inside the air of the child. It seems as though, because Jeffrey, is from that age that our parents taught us about the PNM, you know?
Yeah.
They taught us from the PNM, from below kindergarten. From below kindergarten, they teach us.
We could not logically differentiate the right and the wrong from it.
While you are a small boy, and an election call, they're breaking out the eye of the Balize. You the top of the Balize, that's called the eye.
Yeah.
They're breaking out that. And that is yours as a baby, as a little boy. You even know where you're holding, but you're moving. Daddy and mommy. And this is what have us in the state that we are in today. Corky, we had to go to the break because just now we will be crossing over. It seems as though we're experiencing a little problem with the phone lines this evening. And don't vex because PNM have a way of jamming the phone line and all.
Yeah.
Let me go for the break and we come back.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available.
Imagine.
More Waves at 731-4646
My
to
phone
make your
didn't
reservation.
work.
Come
I sent
dine
out that
at
message
Waves
so
Restaurant
long and it
Bar,
just went
Grafton
out to
Beach,
you.
Black Rock, Tobago.
Something
Must be
is taking
vaccinated
place,
to
but
dine
don't
in.
worry.
Sport is in
My mother
trouble.
always say, good over evil.
What can be done to
DouglAr
save sports
politics.
in TNT?
8 minutes.
Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you,
I
the
don't
fans.
know what's
as
going
we
on.
bring
There's a
positive
darkness
change
all
through
over this
sport.
country. Imagine my phone just didn't work for the first time in history. But don't worry, douglAr politics won't stop. We begin in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. We, the people, the light of Trinidad and Tobago, must get rid of the darkness that is around our necks. There is a darkness that must be defeated. douglAr politics starts in 6 minutes and 49 seconds.
Bay, Black Rock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. The Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Black Rock.
Eddie's
Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Sport is in trouble. What can be done to save sports in TNT? Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you, the fans, as we bring positive change through sport.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mosika.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mosika. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. The Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be paying some serious attention to the constituency of Labray. We will be back. We'll be back next week. And of course, you all know the mission. There are some things I better not say on the phone.
Yeah.
Because you know the spy is always waiting to thief some kind of idea.
Yeah.
Always waiting. But remember, we have douglAr Politics. In the next 2 minutes, we'll be crossing over. The next 2 minutes, we'll be crossing over to Atlantic Studio, where douglAr Politics will take the spotlight. We have yours truly, the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts, who will be coming to you and will be delivering what he accustomed: facts, information, what is relevant, exposing, and all that go with douglAr Politics. It will be happening very soon. So we want to say a special thanks to those of you who have tuned in, those of you who continue on with douglAr Politics, and we will be passing over. We will be handing over to Atlantic Studio. And Archie, stand by to press your button, Archie.
politics. This is douglAr politics, yo. douglAr politics. Let's douglAr politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAr Politics. Thank you to Victor Corky for turning up. What a great job, Victor. You inspire me, you inspire the nation with your heart, your soul, and your passion. As I was driving up here from Diego Martin to South, as I crossed the foreshore and I looked to the right, to the south, across the Gulf of Paria, I have never seen such a dead calm. The water was flattered and marlin swimming pool with no one in it. I have never seen that in all my years, and I'm living down in the West since 1980. It was the flattest calm I had ever seen. That was approximately an hour ago. Fishermen, people out there who know the sea, who know the Gulf would tell you, not a wave, not an inch, not a movement, not a swell, a dead calm. And I took that as a message tonight, that tonight douglAr Politics is going to take a dead calm, dead seriousness, because there's a darkness over our land that I cannot explain. I'm a logical thinker. I believe in information, research, and facts. My mother was not only logical and intellectual, but very spiritual. And in this last few days, I've just been seeing my mother's face more and more. And I'm begging those of you who are as spiritual as my mother to pray for our nation, because something is going on that I cannot explain. But there needs to be a light that can conquer this darkness. It is clear that something that is inexplicable is taking place. And a man who is leading us, who boasted about dealing in the dark arts to deal with a man called Patrick Manning, who put him out of somewhere. That man is leading this country and nothing is going right. Children are burning to death. Elderly couples burning because the fire truck couldn't pass because of poor roads in Princestown. People are being shot and killed. An auntie protecting her nephew, shot in the back and murdered. Murder, rape, and pillage across every nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago. And then 4 divers: Kazim Ali, Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa lay below our seas, close to the floor of our beloved nation, trapped, sucked in, gasping for what little bit of air they could find, battered, torn, shattered in a pure darkness, enveloped darkness, not only inside the pipe, the 30-inch pipe that they were sucked into, but the dark oil that was inside. No light, already 70 feet down, and further darkness, a darkness that was so black you cannot imagine. In the darkness, they were in darkness, fighting for their life and hoping that some light will come from above, some hope. They pounded on a pipe, praying and screaming for someone to hear them. Mr. Boudram got out. But the powers that be, in whatever darkness, whatever took over their decision making and led to paralysis with their analysis, their inexplicable inaction, just left these men in the darkness all alone, looking for that light, that hope, gasping for what little oxygen was left in an air pocket that was already filled with fumes, gas, oil. That epitomizes all of us in this country as labor movements, as workers have been oppressed, as single mothers, children, sportsmen and sportswomen, cultural people, the arts, every single facet of life in Trinidad and Tobago is being oppressed and suppressed by this dark, heavy cloud. Like swimming and diving in the pitch lake in Labre, 10 feet deep, without a way out. That is the darkness that the PNM has brought over Trinidad and Tobago. So I take the message, whatever message it was, from the Gulf of Paria, being so flat. All of you fishermen will know what I'm talking about. I've never seen such a flat, dead calm. As I came, I left Diego Martin to come here to do douglAr politics. So tonight, douglAr politics, I had planned to be normal, to be fiery, to be vexed. But somebody sent a message to me by that flat calm, and I take that message. I don't understand what is taking place. Some of you all listening will understand far more than me. And if you do, then get down on your knees and pray for this darkness to be lifted off of the necks of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. One bit of light that we saw in the darkness occurred and came from so far away. So far away it came as we celebrated Mahashivratri. Mahashivratri is considered one of the most auspicious nights in Hinduism. It is a widely celebrated not only here in Trinidad and Tobago, but by Hindus in India as well as throughout the world. Mahashivratri is a night dedicated solely to the worship of Bhagwan Shiva, the one representing 1/3 of the Trimurti, threefold aspect of the formless. In Shiva Puran, it is mentioned Shiv in his Nirguna attribute, formless, oversees a fivefold process of the universe creation: maintenance, dissolution, grace, and concealment. A Hindu lunar year actually has a Shivratri that occurs on the 14th day of each lunar month. However, the Mahashivratri, or the Great Night of Shiva, takes place once annually in Trinidad and Tobago. The Mahashivratri vigil is observed by all and sundry. His worship causes one to be free from spiritual ignorance. I thank Pundit Navin Omadat Maharaj for that analysis. And I take you from Trinidad and Tobago across the entire globe to India for a light that was lit here in Trinidad and Tobago, down in Siparia, inside of an individual who espouses the greatness and the attributes of Trinbagonians, the brilliance, the intelligence, the culture, the arts, the togetherness, the universality of our population, the side by side we stand, the unity, the no division, the love for one another, who should have been here for his normal celebration of Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. A carnival that came out of the slaves fighting from oppression, fighting out of darkness with Cambule, fighting to hear and let the world hear their voices, their music, their culture, their lyrics, their intelligence. That's where Carnival came from. And from Carnival, we got Machel Montano. And the world got Machel Montano across the globe, while something that was oppressive was taking place here in Trinidad and Tobago. Something that went against the vein of Cambule. Something that had us penned up and potted up. Something that put elites to celebrate, while the masses who created the festival were thrown into jails, arrested, charged, beaten, battered, abused by the powerful forces of police across the poor people across Trinidad and Tobago. It was a shameful time in Trinidad and Tobago, and I say that from being a child of Carnival. I love it. I am Mr. Fett. But it was disgraceful. And while we are here in that darkness and that oppression and that divisiveness that the PNM created in a taste of carnival that has been deemed a taste of oppression, a taste of stupidity, a taste of dotishness, a taste of elitism, a taste of what is for the haves and nothing for the have-nots. Across the globe, the man was celebrated by over 140 million people, taking Trinidad and Tobago and showing the colors of the red, white, and black in the highest form and fashion that any Trinbagonian must be proud. It was a great performance and showed the unity, the universal spiritualism of Trinidad and Tobago, where we respect each and every religion, every class, every race, and we frown upon those who want to divide. Marshall Montano, blessings, my brother. I felt proud to be born Trinidad and Tobago, to be a red, white, and black. Looking at you across there, show them, Archie. Feel proud of Trinidad and Tobago.
I just wanna dance, party over here now, 'cause I get this feeling whenever I'm dancing. Everybody know, come on, let's dance, dance, dance. Listen, come on, Sadhguru. When I said dance with you, say dance with you, Sadhguru, dance, dance. 1, 2, I just wanna dance with Sadhguru. Let me dance, dance with. Hey, Sate, go Sadhguru, go Sadhguru. I love you. Yo, 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 na 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 na. Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, listen. As I dance and I move with my feet on the ground. Oh yeah. From the earth, if you listen, you can hear there's a sound. Oh yeah. And it moves me. Yes, it shakes me to my core. What a feeling. It's a blessing, I am sure. Touch the ground. Don't you know this is where everybody jump?
And Marge Blackman, the daughter of Lord Shorty, Ras Shorty I, who created soca, a blend of East Indian rhythms with African rhythms, producing uniquely Trinbagonian music that has just gone to the world in a way like never before. Yet here we sit with a leadership that tries to stay in power by division. So tonight, douglAr politics, calm version, light version. Because I take the message from whoever, if it's my mother, sent the message and showed me that calm water in the Gulf of Paria, not a ripple, then I'll take it calm. Shamfa Kucho attacks the TTFA and the TT Pro League. Minister of Sport and Community Development Shamfa Kujo is blasting two of football key stakeholders. We're moving towards a place of getting serious, says Shamfa Kujo, about the business of sport, and the TTFA, the Pro League, and all those stakeholders have to get serious about the business of sports too. There's one problem, Madam Minister. You being the Minister of Sport means that sport in Trinidad and Tobago is considered by your Prime Minister as nothing. Because you don't understand sport. You don't know what is the business of sport. You've never been in sport. You've not studied in sport. You're not qualified in sport. You do not love sport. You do not understand. The mere fact that you're attacking members of the TT Pro League who have pumped more of their money to try and create an industry that gives young black boys and hopefully girls through the Wolf League an opportunity to gain scholarships and professional contracts to take themselves out of poverty when they were left behind in the education system. That you don't understand that an industry like the TT Pro League cannot be sustainable in a market of like Trinidad and Tobago, where our culture is not one of paid support. That the community-based success is more of a bandwagon approach. We wait for you to be successful. That is in our nature, and it will take decades to change it, to get us to take money out of our pockets to pay and to make a pro league or any football league profitable. But the government, any government that understands this, will understand that the TT Pro League and football as a whole has a much greater meaning to Trinidad and Tobago, more than dollars and cents. The opportunities, the jobs, the industry, 4,000 people employed by the TT Pro League, the opportunities for young black boys to put down the gun, to stay away from crime, to take care of their families going forward, to create sustainable futures, to encourage others and create avenues for sports tourism moving forward, Madam Minister. You would need to understand that, but to just shout at people when you have no knowledge, you've done no research, you understand nothing, and you've cut all of the funding from the government under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who understood what sport meant and what it means, especially to those in the East-West corridor, as David Nakid would let you know. She would invest in the TT Pro League not only $5.6 million for the administration of the league itself, but would ensure another $13 million, totaling $18 million per year for the Pro League, to ensure that they had full competitions and young men could earn a salary, take care of their families, and move forward. That's what she did. And on top of that, she encouraged women in sport, girls football, TTFA up to 18 to 25 million per year because of the pride that we get when our national football team wins. Nothing can pay for the 2006 when we qualified in November 2005 in Bahrain, and our World Cup heroes went on in 2006 Germany. There is no price to be put on that. The love, the unity, the care, the fame that Trinidad and Tobago got, the marketing angle, there's no price. It's priceless. So for you to shout at people from a place of ignorance is rather sad, Madam Minister Shamfa Kujo. And this statement will haunt you for the rest of your life, because as sport suffers and culture is embarrassed to the lowest ebb over this last weekend, as I speak on Ash Wednesday, and all the Christians are going into their Lenten period. Maybe that's why my mother said to take it calm. So I listened somehow today, by fluke or by some bigger force. But Shamfa Kujo, this statement, Archie, just remind the population of this statement made by you that will haunt you and the PNM until you all are put into the ashes of politics, underwater, underground, in a pipe, to die a political death without political oxygen, because you have taken the power that people have given you and use it to stifle them, to put your knee on the necks of people, to crush sport, to crush football. Football is 98% black African Trinbagonians in football, and you, the black government, and you play race, you stifle it, you attack it, and then you abuse those who invest their own money in TT Pro League. Shame on you, Madam Minister. But then again, what can I expect, Archie? Just remind them who Shamfa is.
as the leader of the bench said on the first day, we are in charge of this house, and you are going to deal with it. You are going to learn to deal with it, because we are going to be in this place for the next 5 years at least, and in your face for the next 5 years at least, like a zombie from Lekoto. Lekoto. So find a way to deal with it. Find a way to deal with it. So on another day, and it's interesting.
Like a zombie from Lekoto, the darkness has come. Not only did her leader boast about Lekoto and put in spirit lash on a former prime minister while he was ailing and then dying, she brought it up also, Lekoto. Yet there is a darkness over Trinidad and Tobago, so she was not lying. She knows more about it than you and I. So when I call upon all of you spiritual beings to pray for this country and pray for the light, the spark to rise and let the sun rise again, you understand what I'm saying. Prestige pays price as pandemic continues to challenge business. Prestige? Prestige is not KFC. KFC is not the chairman of the PNM's roadmap to recovery team. Mr. Christian Mute, Mr. PNM, Mr. Making Decisions, Mr. All Involved, Mr. KFC report with corruption in Bridgemans and Kobo Star and Ocean Stem. You are saying that the pandemic continues to challenge business when you have made opportunities and you have expanded your corporate base into pharmaceuticals, creating an oligopoly, if not a monopoly, when you are buying up our energy assets across, when companies and individuals and service industries are collapsing, you come out to tell us, Mr. PNM Christian Mute, that the pandemic has hit you hard? Really? That is really amazing. Let me just cry a little bit for you, Christian PNM Mute. Botiwari, do you agree with this? Because you seem to agree with everything that the PNM does. Do you agree with Vasan's roadmap to recovery, and there's no recovery and there's separation across the board, Botiwari? Because I see like you want to create a party. Is it, Bo? You're going to lead a party to do what? A Botiwari? I tell you, the only good thing named Bo is a slight bow leg in a beautiful lady. You know, when they put on the high heels and you see a slight bow, that's so elegant, so beautiful. Nothing else named Bo is good. But Bo, I see you forming a party, so I go name your party for you, all right? Boat. B-O-A-T. And you might as well jump on your boat and sail up the Caroni and look for Cayman. But boat, you know what boat stands for? Bo's Old People Alliance Tea Party. So Bo, when you launch your boat, just make sure you have an engine, because all them political geriatric you have side by side next to you, nobody ain't gonna be able to row the boat, you know. So Bo, I want to also ask you, I see NGC confirms Alam and Balkisun removed from the board. And not only Botiwari, Vasan Bharat, Guardian newspaper, Express newspaper. I want to ask you all if this is okay. NGC confirms Alam and Balkisun removed from the NGC board. Curtis Williams, the National Gas Company Limited, has quietly confirmed that there's been a shake-up of its board of directors following the cabinet decision not to renew the contracts. The cabinet decision not to renew the contracts of these two directors. I'm glad, thank you, Archie. Mr. Alam on the far side and Mr. Balkisun. These are two heroes. These are two men who stood up against corruption. These are two whistleblowers. These are two gentlemen who said, you, Keith Rowley, you, the cabinet, you, Stuart Smallpin, Minister of Energy, Minister of everything, You are forcing us to take decisions that are not in the best interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we, these two, swore on the Bible to do what was best for the people of Trinidad and Tobago without fear or favor. They are also experts in the energy industry, and they have worked there, and they're extremely intelligent. Between them, if you go back in the till primary school, you will not see a 1B in one subject amongst these two gentlemen. Two patriots, two proud Trinbagonians who said, no, do not waste taxpayers' money on Atlantic LNG Train 1. We have done the due diligence, we have done the research, we have seen and we have consulted with the major shareholders, and that is not a good investment. In fact, that is throwing money away, corrupt, politically motivated, and makes no sense, and is a waste of taxpayers' dollars. That's what these two gentlemen stood up in Trinidad and Tobago, where no one stands up, where billionaires call me and say, Anil, I have some information for you, XYZ, but don't call my name, don't call my company name. Well, senior counsel, where professors, where lawyers, all stay quiet. In the midst of a constitutional crisis, when Keith Christopher Rowley causes a police service commission to collapse, brings the office of the president into disrepute, and forces the president to trample on the Constitution, section 123(4). In this country, that PNM has made us all cowards. Whether we are afraid to lose a food card, or we are afraid to lose a CPEP work, or a URP work, or a board placement, these two gentlemen stood up for what is right, and they've been rewarded by the PNM by being fired, their contracts not renewed. And I listened to the great newspapers, the mass media who was trying to equivocate between the UNC, who is not in power and has no control, and the PNM, who controls everything, in talking about whistleblower legislation. Remember when I brought that to you? And they were trying to say that the opposition must come and join with the PNM, and then they agreed with everything that Kamala said. Remember that? But two whistleblowers, two strong, big cojones gentlemen, who stood up to the oppressive, vindictive, malicious, wicked Keith Rowley, they get pelt out. So they cannot serve their country because they did the right thing. And I listen to my country. I read my newspapers. I listen to the TV and the mass media. And what do I hear? Isn't it amazing? What say you, Bo Tiwari, the leader of Bo's Old People Alliance Tea Party? What say you, Bo Tiwari? I haven't heard you say, oh, you waiting at Takamla? Oh gosh, all right, Bo, you wait right there, Bobo, and you wait at Takamla, okay? Vasant, where you? Or you gone full PNM now? Huh? This country all serious? I don't know these men, but all I know is all I read and all I hear and all I see. These men did the right thing, and they've been rewarded with a firing, a loss of their job, a loss of their ability to serve their country, and they're replaced with whoever will do what Rowley say. And everybody, law association, retired justices, Court of Appeal, former judges, permanent secretaries retired, professors, political scientists, people who study corporate governance, the chambers of industry and commerce, everyone is quiet because we are so afraid of the evil and the darkness. But yet we won't support two gentlemen who brought the light. They brought light out of the darkness. They showed no fear. They may not care, but boss men, I respect all you. The douglAr respect all you 100. Bo, what happened, Bo? Prime Minister skips CARICOM intercessional meeting starting today. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago skips, not important, CARICOM. First session that is face-to-face in 25 months because of COVID pandemic. Trinidad and Tobago that requires more friends now than ever because this Prime Minister has crushed our economy. No foreign direct investment. Debt to GDP reaching 100%. They dip in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund 8 times last year. You all don't even know about it. And he says he not going CARICOM. He, after disrespecting Guyana, our brother, who is looking very good and who can offer us in our time of darkness and need a hand up, because we have the skills, we have the people, we have the intelligence, we have the creativity, we have the companies, we have the service, we have the consultancies to help and assist and get opportunities from Guyana. But Keith Rowley, because he backed another team in the politics in Guyana and they lost, say, cha, Guyana invited him 6 months before, and he just told them through Amory Brown, he not going, no reason. But he went and meet with the president of Iran. But he won't attend CARICOM, and he won't attend the Guyana Energy Conference. But he's gone to meet with Iran, who is in an eternal spiritual war with our friends, the United States, Canada, and the European Union. Iran, who calls the USA and our allies that we love to do business with and who would help protect us, the devil. So the devil goes to meet with the devil. Botiwari, on this foreign affairs issue, what say you, sir, on this disrespect to Guyana by Keith Rowley and the PNM government on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago? What say you, Botiwari? And I was looking for you on TV. Oh, your show collapsed. Oh, you had that huge show you had where you had 5 viewers on a morning. All 5 left you. Where's the brighter morning with Bo? It got dark under Rowley's cloud of evil too. Botiwari, you and your boat party, Bo's Old People Alliance Tea Party. Maybe you'll agree with this one, because Rodney Charles of the UNC, Bo, Rodney Charles tells the Prime Minister strengthen ties with Guyana, not Venezuela, not Maduro, not an indicted narco-terrorist. Naparima MP Rodney Charles is calling on the Prime Minister to be careful with countries he chooses to cooperate with and warn that otherwise Trinidad and Tobago may be blacklisted by other countries. Well said, Rodney Charles. Bo, you agree with Rodney Charles and the UNC? Or you waiting to attack Kamala, Bo? You waiting to criticize Kamala? By the way, Bo, you are a minister. I was in cabinet with you, Bo. What seat you won back then, Bo? Oh, you didn't win a seat? So you mean you were a senator, Bo Tiwari? Who made you that? Who appointed you that? Who signed your... Was that Kamala who made you a minister, Bo? Oh, and you're going to attack her? Okay, Bo. I wish you best, Bo, because I'm going to do a whole special wonton soup for you, Bo. Come in just now. So you go and launch your boat. Bo's Old People Alliance Tea Party. Launch it. HSF under pressure. 1.87 billion US. 1.87 billion US withdrawn by Colm Imbot, that trustworthy bastion of integrity. Colm Imbot dipped into the HSF 8 times in 2021. Do you know what's $1.87 billion? Multiply that by 7. You nearly reach 12.89 billion TT. Do you know how much reserves Kamala Prasad Bisasa left on September 6th, 2015? 12.25 billion. Oh, but that was US. Them spend out, dip in your savings, your heritage. That Kamala left 7.8 billion US there. It's now down under 5 billion. And it has not grown. Normally it grows every year by a 1.6 billion. This has been dipping in your savings, your children's savings. But they said, Indian and African must not unite. We are not all Trinbagonians. We must separate. And black people must vote for this. That's an interesting one. How they sell all of that? They are very good. You all believe that? This is black. Okay. Bo, what about that? You are like that, Bo? The HSF? You like how Colm dipped in it 8 times last year? Do you know when, where, how he dipped in it? Or you waiting to attack Kamala, Bo? Of course. Why? Because you didn't get to go back for your seat. Of course. You mean she just left you as a minister for 5.5 years as a senator and then gave you a safe seat and allowed you to be a member of parliament in a safe seat for another 5 years, so 10.5 years she took care of you and provided you with a crutch to feel that you are something, Bo, and now you're waiting to attack Kamala? But while all this is going on, you have nothing to say, Bo? I think it's getting darker in the morning with Bo. Beetham sewer system replaced at last. At last, they say. This March 2nd, they say, hey, tomorrow is my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, my brother. Anyway, he go buff me for that. But only 7.5 months of tutu water, but they say it finished. I ain't believe them. You all could believe them. But they say it finished, but it have plenty dirt and the road, it still have a hole and they still have, that's how you finish a work. So when you go by a chef, say yes, the chicken finished. It ain't cook, but it finished. Yes. What you want with that salad? Over 100 frustrated teachers, tutor, visit education ministry. Wait, tutor? This is the dotish labor that Rowley called dotish? I wonder why tutor went in a phone call afterwards. Tutor President Antonia Teca de Freitas said teachers were there to get updates on personal and professional matters that the association had been trying to get for years. It is a simple matter of scheduling a date and getting permanent positions, and it is affecting their tenure. It is demotivating the teachers. PNM demotivation. Across the board, not only teachers, labor unions, TNTech, WASA, anybody, workers, CPEP, PNM demotivating the entire country. She said some teachers are also having issues with being paid increments due to them by law. But Archie, Rowley attacked the OWTU, the strongest union in the Caribbean. He attacked the PSA and Watson Duke. He attacked public servants. He attacked permanent secretaries. He's going to attack WASA, which is PSA. He attacked the port workers, the NUGFW. He called all of them dotish. He attacked tutor. So that's why they didn't even meet to discuss, when they're discussing the future of the education system in Trinidad and Tobago, the PNM did not even invite tutor. And then Clarence Rambarat get up in the Senate to tell us that makes sense. They don't need to discuss with teachers the future of the education system. But Archie and Rowley had called Labour dotish. Remind me now, because I don't want to tell lies on this. They are being calm. Go ahead.
What I'm against is dotish Labour leaders who are leading workers astray.
If you want to talk about who dotish, your decision, you win 6 seats out of 12 in the Tobago House of Assembly election. And instead of sharing power, you decide to go back to the poll. You had 6, you end up with 1. You nearly get none. If that is not dotish, you tell me what is. You shut down a refinery that producing its own fuel here, fuel independence, making foreign exchange and so on. But you now hardly have foreign exchange, where you have to use the same scarce foreign exchange to purchase fuel from outside at whatever cost. So you shut down your own capacity to produce fuel and you're purchasing fuel costing billions of dollars. If that is not dotish, you tell me what is. And of course,
Rowley said, labor is dotish, so teachers dotish, everybody dotish except Rowley and Small Pin. Okay. 41 EFCL employees get termination letters. Education Facilities Company Limited. So not only in 6 years did Rowley not build one school, not only did he leave schools across the board dilapidated. Archie showed you Ramai Trace Hindu School. The St. Joseph Secondary, we showed you that being left for people to vandalize. Schools that were 94% finished and so on. Rowley didn't complete any. He owing contractors all over, and now he shuts down another company and 41 employees to go home, and they don't care. Rowley don't care. Aji, if you have anything on, I think you have a one on a Rangway school. I think Amit Sutkatnana, the counselor, was doing some work there.
Good morning, everyone. Residents of Rangways.
Look at this. That is a school, and a counselor had to do the work that an MP, Terence Dial Singh, is the MP for St. Joseph. Look at this inside of this school. And just shuttered. Look at the new school, the new building in the back, built by Tim Gopisik.
Of course, and we are here once again to render some assistance to the Arangwes North Secondary School in a cleanup exercise, of course, on behalf of the San Juan Lavantil Regional Corporation Health Department. This request was brought to council by...
Well, thank the Lord for a UNC counselor. And counselors don't have no big set of resources. You know how hard you have to work to get that done from the corporation. But you have Terence Dial Singh, the member of parliament for St. Joseph, that has been an absentee MP. Not only, I mean, some of the people happy because when he was all present in COVID-19, and I don't know where the COVID-19 gone, like it disappeared, right? He was all in COVID-19 and all failed. Over 3,600 people dead. The health system in total tatters. No parallel healthcare system. Both sides of the parallel, left and right, people dying and not getting service. Doctors and nurses overworked to the bone, suffering, needing mental health. Ministers to set up a team on school violence. PNM ministers to set up a team to deal with school violence when for the last 25 months we had no school. But under PNM, with no school, it has school violence. All you make that make sense. And then understand that elections have consequences. And when they tell you vote so because we black, and you have darkness over you now, because we did not vote with brain. Brain, when they signify in all them cartoon, when they have a bright eye, they end up bulbs come on and give you light. But when you vote for dunces, this is what happens. Public must get full disclosure on EFCL, says Guardian. Guardian? Full disclosure? Rather surprisingly, on Monday, news of the impending winding up of Educational Facilities Company Limited began circulating on social media via the dissemination of a letter of termination which employees received announcing the beleaguered company's fate. Isn't it worrying to you, Guardian, that social media and social activists and people on social media scoop the all mass media right through? And you, you have no shame in every topic, at every junction, in everything. The mass media is becoming useless. So your editorial is about something that surfaced on social media when it's supposed to surface in the guardian of democracy. Not so. While it would appear that the company's operations are now in the hands of the Ministry of Finance, that ministry did not respond to questions from the media on the authenticity of the letter. So you write in an editorial on something that pop up on social media, and you don't even know if it is authentic. But we on social media, we knew it was authentic. Okay? Excellent. But we must get full disclosure on EFCL. What about Petrotrin and the closure of Petrotrin? You all didn't want full disclosure on that, Guardian. What about the two whistleblowers who were fired, Mr. Alam and Mr. Balkisun, who were fired by the PNM for doing the right thing? You all don't find that's a story that needs full disclosure, and you all should really get at it to help the population see how dastardly the PNM is? No, just leave that. Shh, let that go. Let that go. Lee slams Paria's poor communications. David Lee, as he said, rest in peace and condolences to the family, friends, and the entire nation of Trinidad and Tobago on the passing of Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa. To their mothers and fathers, their wives, their children, may God bless you and may they rest in eternal peace. David Lee says, Paria's poor communication. Forget the investigation. You could leave them there, Archie, please. Forget the investigation. Forget the facts for right now. There is time and place for that. I will deal with that. Clearly, cogently, researching, finding every bit of information. But let's just deal with the most important part. Humanity. Now, I've told you all time and time again that Keith Rowley is inhumane. He has no heart. He likes no one. He's a hater, except for those with money and who have a pink coloration. It's a fact. And I've shown you all example after example. When he blustered and blubbered and flustered and could not read out a speech, it's because you're surrounded by opulence. He was surrounded by money. Those things confuse him. He has such a zeal and a passion for money and riches that it confuses. He don't have no passion and zeal for all you under a pipe, or children without laptop, or building no school, or school feeding, or food card, or pensioners not getting their money, or he don't have that don't bother he. He talk, he don't stutter when he had a buff all for that. But when I told you all that Keith Rowley is heartless and has been heartless, and I know that gentleman since 1986, and I can give you story after story, in all levels he cares not. But when a leader is heartless, I told you that leadership is very important. All the countries that are doing well in the world, Japan in 38, 39, 40, they were hit by Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 2 atomic bombs. They were hit by tsunamis, earthquakes. And Japan has risen because of leadership, great leadership that transcends and goes down into the discipline, the work ethic, the creativity, the belief and the patriotism of their nation. Look at Germany. Angela Merkel brought Germany out to be a leader, making GDP equaling some of the major largest with a smaller area because of great leadership, inspirational humanity. When Keith Rowley is a hater who does not like anybody and surrounds himself with haters, I'm just asking you all, including people who are PNM, because you all are people. We disagree on politics, but you all are human beings who support the PNM. So a mother, parents, family members, wives are worried about their loved ones dark in darkness, underwater, trapped in a pipe, not knowing, confusion, fear, pain. And the PNM government and Rowley's best friend, Newman George, who's on 6 boards, and his wife controls the parliament and shuts down debate. A very powerful trilogy there. Newman George and the Pariah board could not say to the parents, well, you all come inside. We have a little office here, a little lounge, a little lobby, a little conference room. Please sit there and we will update you all as much as we can. Would you like something to eat? Would you like us to get some doubles for you all? Would you like some Chinese food? Would you like some curry? Would you like some pilau, some corn soup? Like some pizza? What would you all like? You want some water, some juice, some Coca-Cola, some orange juice, some Fruta? What do you all want? Nothing. Leaving parents of people trapped, citizens trapped, fighting for their lives, confused, outside under a bus shed. That the OWTU had to bring tent. Philip Alexander had to bring pizza. Ian Allen had to bring water. David Lee had to go and get things for people to eat, snack and bring fruit and things. That's what you're talking about. That's what? And you? So to the PNM people out there, what do y'all feel about that? And what about the communication? Because David Lee mentions the communication. What about that? No communication, no information for 48 hours. And then when these two call a press conference in the dark that we couldn't tell if this one was that one and that one was this one, and this one is Piper, and Piper, we have some questions for you too. They call a press conference, and the parents and the family members of the divers have to hear with the rest of the nation that their son's dead, that their husband dead. You could not even see it in your heart to bring them in. Have a priest, a pundit, an imam, say a few prayers, let them know that we're going to alert the country of what has taken place. No? Why not? Notice I ain't getting to nothing yet except humanity. The Daily Express, leave them boys there. Truth above all, says the Daily Express editorial, Wednesday, 2nd March 2022. The government's planned probe into the Pariah tragedy, which claimed the lives of 4 undersea divers, has been received with cynicism and distrust, including from the relatives of the victims who fear it will not uncover the truth. When established, the Pariah probe will be the 5th independent investigation to be established by the Rowley administration in its 6 years in government. In every case, the investigation was initiated in response to loud public demands for truth and accountability. The fact that all of these investigations petered out rather inconclusively without consequences should alert the government to the importance of building trust in the Pariah probe. Why should that, what you just stated there, Express, make the government realize that this probe is important? The other 5 weren't, and you, the media, did not make it so. You let it go. So if the other 5 probes, and they said they are, the Cabo Star and the Ocean Stem Road Bridgemans, which Rowley approved by himself, prime ministerial approval, and he lied to Tobago and then went and tell the truth with Stuart Youngton. Yes, Baswe is in Tobago. That Express, mass media, you let it go. So then he came with, that one was a KFC report. Then when they embarrassed the country and told Dominica, the OS, they had to pay the fees. And they lied, the PNM lied on the ambassador, and it was shown that he got instruction so to do. There was a report, I think the Thomas report, I think the former ambassador dead and all, and we hear about that. But Express, you let it go. Who's supposed to hold it? Who's supposed to keep it? Who's supposed to keep the population aware? You let that one go. Then there was the Ministry of Sports with the grabby wabby pum pum. I telling all you, it had more to that story, Express. You all did well for a while and then you let it go. Because Rowley created a 3-woman committee to investigate, didn't give them terms of reference. When it have Franco-men police to investigate, and it have FIU unit, it have integrity commission, it have all sort of authority to investigate. Rowley didn't do that. And then he tell them, he used his own land, they trick on them and say, well, you didn't tell Grabby Wabby, so therefore that dead. And you let it die, Express. But now you come to say that we need the truth now. Yes, we need the truth. But we also needed the truth back then. And if you had held the PNM to account like the Fourth Estate is supposed to do, then we would not be here. Because Rowley would not have been the Prime Minister. And Stuart Smallpin Young would not have been the Minister of Energy. And Fitzgerald Hines would not have been the Minister of National Security. And Newman George would not have been on 6 boards. Because the population would have voted them out with the information that the mass media would have fed them relentlessly. But you didn't go into the Ministry of Sport with Grabby Wabby. You didn't find out the truth. That the truth was that Keith Christopher Rowley had a very close, tight relationship with Grabby Wabby's wife. And that was the crux of the matter that created all the couture. Did you all go and investigate? You all think it's funny? It's not. Then there was fiery protests in Mova when people, children, people, youths, young people saw police shoot men with their hand up and then start to pick up thing off the ground and throw man in the back like Guti, and spontaneous protests erupted across the country. Stuart Smallpin Young came out and say that is the UNC pay all them youths across the whole country in PNM stronghold to revolt and to protest, which insinuated that Stuart Smallpin Young think black people are too dotish to watch a video and find that wrong. That is a breach of your constitutional rights. That is a breach of your human rights. That's wrong. But they tell black people to vote for them. Stuart Smallpin Young is a bastion of black power. Love and respect black people, isn't it so? Because you all love to talk this race when it comes to politics. Then there was also the COVID-19 deaths. Kamla Prasad-Bissessa begging for a commission of inquiry, removal of that OJT team when the death numbers were 300. It's now 3,600. Tim Gopi Singh, same thing. You all didn't fight with the UNC. You didn't agree with the points made. Kamla take a time to put point by point, reason by reason. Tim Gopi Singh bring everything, and everything that Tim Gopi Singh said. This COVID-19 committee that Rowley gave a week, not a commission of inquiry. Then they get a month and 105-page scathing report saying that Kamla was right, Tim Gopi Singh was right, the UNC was right. Where were you fighting for the truth? Express now all of a sudden, you're a bastion of truth. If you had been fighting for the truth all the time, Keith Rowley could not be Prime Minister. If you, Express, and mass media had done the correct thing when Keith Rowley walked into the parliament as leader of the opposition, brought a motion of no confidence in a sitting Prime Minister who was performing above all else, serving the people. And up to now, because of you, mass media, people out there still believe in them email gate, those fabricated pieces of concocted, disgusting lies brought by a man who you then elevated, Express, to Prime Minister. If you had fought for the truth, Express, and you knew the truth, because out of the 31 things that he called emails, 29 could not even go up into the cloud because they did not even have enough characters to be an email. And you let a man lie in the parliament, desecrate the highest court of the land, and mass media, you all elevated him to Prime Minister. Even Orville London had said, if that man lie on that, will he have a political price to pay? Well, he paid it in Tobago, but it's delayed. Why is it delayed? Because the mass media, you allow it. The headline should have been, disgrace, Rowley lies, Rowley flops, disgraceful, dastardly, shame. Those should have been the headlines for about a week until Rowley had to resign his position as leader of the opposition in a real country with real mass media express. Did you do those? No. You let Faris come and say, and other PNM people, well, it's not that whether they were really emails or not. We have to investigate the contents of something that does not exist. I'm drinking half a glass of Hennessy right now. You'll see it? Oh my goodness. Come and investigate Anil for drinking on the job. Not so, Express? Because even though it doesn't exist, you have to investigate the contents of this glass that does not exist. And now you all talk about the truth, Express? Shame on you. Because if you were searching and providing the country with truth, Keith Rowley would not have his knee on the necks of every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago right now, dragging the flag and embarrassing this country, local and abroad, disrespecting our neighbors, Guyana, when he should be seeking opportunities for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, disrespecting CARICOM, while sitting down with the national flag of Trinidad and Tobago behind his back and meeting with Iran, supporting and doing a conga line with Maduro, an indicted narco trafficker, a man that the USA had 15 charges waiting for him, drug trafficking, money laundering. But if you wanted truth above all, New Express, what about the blackout? 12 hours total blackout in this country. There was supposed to be a Public Accounts Committee meeting to deal with TNTech and so on, in which opposition members and independent senators and so on could have asked live on TV questions of TNTech and the Minister of Public Utilities and so on what took place to get to the truth of the matter. What are the risk assessments? What are we in jeopardy of that happening again? And the PNM canceled the Public Accounts Committee. I'm listening to your furor, Express, and you want the truth? You only want a piece of the truth when you want the truth or feel you need the truth? No. What about, let me read this, truth above all. Express. What about Yaelvis Santoyo Saravia? What about that little baby that the Coast Guard shot in the head, unarmed? 37 unarmed migrants accosted and killed on a boat, a little baby. What about the truth about that? Where's the investigation? You know, you letting that one go too? Or you agree like with Bo and Vasant, Bo of the Bo Old People Alliance Tea Party, that we must not question our institutions and our forces that have power and are supposed to enforce laws. They can't just kill babies, shoot women, shoot human beings. You don't want the truth of that? What about the tear gas of the citizens? Citizens who were praying and singing gospel and shouting Rowley must go while being socially separated. You don't want to get to the truth of that? You find that use of force was correct, Express? What about the truth about the Police Service Commission and Rowley losing confidence in a commissioner of police, then instituting a chain of events with letters that were inappropriate, writing to the independent chairman of a Police Service Commission, finding out that a merit list had been duly, legally authorized by a majority of the Police Service Commission, going to the president and telling her shoo-shooing about FULs and licenses and things without an iota of evidence, and the president listening to the prime minister and telling the chairman, then chairman of the Police Service Commission, to come and take back that list, breaching the Constitution section 123(4). You weren't interested in truth then? And then when Bridget Anisette George, wife of Newman George, who on 6th board, when she says, when Kamala Prasad Bisesa brings a motion to find out the truth, to have an independent tribunal investigate the issue that led to the collapse of the Police Service Commission and Trinidad and Tobago being without a substantive commissioner of police for the first time in our history. Express, you weren't interested in truth. You all were interested in supporting independent Senator Vera to tell it, we UNC go and scratch. That's what you all were interested in. You weren't interested in truth. While people are dying, women are being raped and killed, and the police are useless and rudderless, and DCP Jacobs has been catapulted by PNM contacts that he's fun and happy with to hear their advice and opinions. Yet the population is under siege. You weren't interested in the truth there. You didn't stand up with the leader of the opposition to say, no, Madam Speaker, that's wrong. A debate is necessary. We, the mass media, we, the Express newspaper, we want to hear the debate. We want to find the facts. We find it disturbing that our constitution was breached. That don't sound logical. Now you want the truth, Express? Express, shame on y'all. At this point, I'm sorry that I said I'm going calm, because right here, actually, something might have gone on. What about the fake oil charade? What about Rowley's Integrity Commission forms? No Form B, a ratchety Form A, no declaration of a 468,000 personal benefit against the law. Oh, all you don't want the truth on that? Rest that. We don't need that. Ooh, that's PNM, that's Rowley. No, leave that. What about Al-Rawi's transfer in his Porsche? Poof. All you couldn't find it, and then poof, it shows up. Like, you only don't want the truth of that. No. Where Mark Bassant? Email Gate, Delcy Gate, with Paria and the same Newman George buying 1.2 million barrels of fuel from Trafigura PTE, which is Maduro and Wilmer Ruperti, and then selling it to ES Euro Shipping, which is Wilmer Ruperti, Trafigura PTE, and Maduro with Delcy during a time of strict sanctions. You all didn't want to find out about that? When this point back, that same man said payment was made on 15th April and get the wrong bank account. So how ES Euro Shipping knew that Paria had a bank account in RBC when on the invoice it had First Citizens Bank around the Savannah? So ES Euro Shipping just say, hey, we have 15 million US to pay. Ploop, drop it in whichever pick up pan. That's how you do it. All you didn't want to hear the truth. And now we're seeing that a whole pipeline getting redone by Paria. For what? In secret. And all of this. Why? We saw a refinery, clause 7 of the PNM, these people telling Patriotic Energies they have to sign a deal with Trafigura PTE. You all didn't find it strange that Rowley took our country and hug up Maduro, Putin, Equatorial Guinea, and now Iran. Well, back then Iran too, and gone to ensure that it's Iran. You all didn't ask questions and want the truth of why this major change in foreign policy of Trinidad and Tobago, and you all didn't go back and check the manifesto of these PNM and see where they put our foreign policy position is to move away from the United States, America, Canada, the European Union. We would like to form closer ties with a narco-trafficking, oppressive dictator, this man, and this next one, madman from Russia, and the dictatorship in Iran. We want to take Trinidad and Tobago over there. Please vote for us. Was that in the manifesto expressed? Now you want to pretend you want truth? Now, as we get into this, as we say rest in peace, Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa, I'm asking the Ministry of Energy, Stuart Young, told the parents when he snuck in, and then some of them representatives were brought in to meet with other officials of Paria, and they were shocked to see the Minister of Energy there. And he told them, and I quote, I've traveled 24 hours to come and see you all. He lied. He had reached St. Lucia from since 2 days before. You understand? They were supposed to be in Trinidad on the Friday for Rowley to have a press conference, and then they had to cancel the press conference because they say the flight from St. Lucia get delayed. He telling the people he traveled 24 hours to come and see them. And they asked, well, why you didn't come outside where everybody was and so on? How come you just sneak in here? He said, well, I wanted to surprise you all. Like it had cake and ice cream. But he comes out and he has a press conference. And he says he's going to get a committee to investigate. And he's going to appoint maybe the permanent secretary of his ministry to chair it. Okay? And he is going to get a member from, an expert from BP and Shell. But the Minister of Energy and the Ministry of Energy regulates BP and Shell. Therefore, BP and Shell are beholden to the regulator, which is the Minister of Energy. And therefore, they are conflicted. So we don't want no conflicted people expressed on a committee. If you want the truth, you want total independence. Not people who depend on the Minister of Energy and the Ministry of Energy for anything. And the Minister of Energy and the Ministry of Energy regulates Shell and BP in Trinidad and Tobago. Mushtaq Mohammed, who is the CEO that nobody could have found. And then he come out and he talking, his salary is $125,000 a month. And he using green verb like he went in the green market. But he is a former VP of BP. So if he is responsible and he is one of those that needs to be investigated for whatever action or inaction occurred, how come you're letting somebody who was his previous employer that he had a good relationship with investigate him? I don't think that makes sense. And how do you get to the truth when you have a tardy investigation? How many days gone? When will this investigation start? How many people went inside, outside, and tampered with that crime scene? Where's the information? Right? And the PNM, while you want the truth, the PNM shut down Petrotrin. But Express, you all didn't get the truth. You didn't know why, because Winfred Eswini didn't say shut it down. Rowley shut it down by himself. And then we saw all shenanigans. All they didn't want the truth on the fake oil. Arbitration. Arbitration what? Where the police investigation reached? Did they get a geologist to confirm the findings? What about the 3 audit reports? Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj talking about Kamla. Ramesh, go and dye your hair and rest Kamla, eh? You understand? Don't let me start on you, eh, Ramesh? Okay? You're happy for your client, you get your fees? Cool yourself. You're embarrassing your legacy. Don't let me start on you. Okay? Right now I'm going to deal with Bo. Don't make me deal with Bo Ramesh. Okay? How was Mushtaq Mohammed hired? Because I went and searched and I was looking. Remember I told you all, right? No, that is a wrong Mushtaq Mohammed. That Mushtaq Mohammed is from volleyball. He tried to do his best for the volleyball and so on. So, it's a different fella. But how was he hired? Where was the advertisement? How many people applied? Who was the committee who conducted the evaluation? Was it sourced out by an outside firm, independent head-hunting firm? Who found Mushtaq Mohammed? Where all these BP people came from? Because at the time, Winfred Espine, who was in a wedding and who is Sarabai with Robert Riley of BP, all of a sudden, when they shut down Petrotrin, them two, what Ajoda Singh was there to just fill out the HR component of all of these 3 new companies to take total control. How come it's BP, 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 and BP? You see? But Express, you didn't want the truth. Newman George, 6 boards under the PNM boy. Hey Archie, we have a video to show that. Newman George, he said, I don't work. I don't do no full-time work, man, but I'm just on a board. I will go there on a meeting and no big thing twice a month and think that's what you got. So when you get incompetence, you vote for incompetence, and when incompetence puts on incompetence on top of incompetence, that's what you get. The truth is incompetence. Run it, Archie. guess your PNM will say that's great. So many boards, each one critical, requires quick decisions, requires intelligence, requires understanding. So you tell me in all of Trinidad and Tobago there was no one who understood the operations of oil and gas better than Newman George on 6 boards? Don't you think if someone was specific, who had time and decades in the industry, that action would have been forthcoming? And when you finish this show, when douglAr Politics finish, listen to Rushton Parry and you'll understand in that industry it requires expertise and an excellent, brilliant explanation. You could see the knowledge of MP Rushton Parry. Right as I say goodnight, it's going to start, so don't go no way. I didn't want to put it in here because I didn't want to put a piece. I want you to listen to the whole thing, Rushton Parry on Mr. Speaker on MCTV. It's coming up after. So this man, and all you PNM people really and truly, so it had no PNM with qualifications in oil and gas? Really? They had to put that? And you're all right with that? So Rowley best friend for 45 years, and he and Rowley close with Bridget and he said George, all of them tight, like a government boots. And together they're controlling your democracy. You all find that's good corporate governance, that's great truth, that's and transparency, accountability, and so on. Stuart Young says the committee to probe divers tragedy. He said he has asked BPTT and Shell. Well, we talked about that already. He scotched a rumor that the pipeline had been capped while the men were missing. Oh yeah, you scotched that? Were you there? We heard detailed testimony from a diver who was out there wanting to go back down after pulling out one man, that they brought the equipment in at about 7 or 8 p.m. in the darkness, the correct commercial equipment, and they went down and capped the line, the one escape route. I heard that testimony. Stuart Smallpin Young come to say that diver, that family member lie. Well, we'll wait to see. Young said first responders may arrive on a scene without having all relevant information and all the required tools. That is the most asinine statement in dealing with this matter. Listen to Rushton Parry after I say goodnight. With the families being kept updated, although saying this latter had fallen short. The families being updated, the Minister of Energy admits that the communication was piss poor with the families of divers who were in peril, and he didn't resign. You cannot do the easiest job, the simplest job is to just show compassion, to talk, to communicate, to give updates, however little information you want to give. You couldn't do that. You come and say you fail on that, but you still guffing up your chest as the Minister of Energy and the Super Minister, Stuart Smallpin Young. But Stuart Young, there's going to be a critical part of this investigation. And in your press conference, I saw you stutter and you pause. I actually show them the pause because Stuart Young, you didn't explain. We want to know how the suction start. What the suction? We want to know. You didn't tell me. You come to tell me all kind of thing with diagram. Run it, Archie.
There were 2 flanges installed there. The first one was a piece of rubber between 2 metal plates. And of course, these flanges go and they meet between these 2 points. So they were inserted somewhere around here. 2 pieces of metal and a rubber piece in between, and the second would have been an inflatable that was blown up. From what we can gather at this stage, unfortunately, when the first one was removed, something took place that created a suction, sucking the 5 divers in from what was a air chamber into this 30-inch pipeline that you see going along in the shape of a U. So I thought it important that we understand that at this berth 6, which is where the work was taking place, that this suction came in and something happened.
This suction came in and something happened. This suction, this is a minister of energy pretending to give you a forensic analysis of the entire incident and what took place and so on, and says the suction came in and something happened. Well, that's the essence and crux of what we want to know. Where the suction come from and what happened. Just resign, boy. Let me tell you something. Anyway, the DCP McDonald Jacob, DCP Dunn says today, full homicide investigation will be launched. DCP Duns, let me turn to you and talk to you. Is that how the police operates? An event occurs, social media goes wild, people talk, ministers make press conference, Paria press conference, all of that, men dead, men thing. And then after that, the police decides, because they have public uproar, that a homicide investigation will be undertaken. That is how the police work. I thought police work. Hey, what is that? Check that, seal off that, move that, police take control of the scene, police in charge, seal off here, you out here, all your people there, who was there, statement, correct, investigate, what, Coast Guard officer, what you was there, you, diver, come here, what happened, how you got there, boatman, what was the job, isn't that? This man come like he's a politician. Now that they have public outcry, homicide investigation, DCP Duns, that's not how police work. Wow. Crime scene contaminated, crime scene gone through, crime scene, police ain't even reached there yet. Police mightn't even be allowed to go inside. Don't mind, police was stopping a peaceful picket outside. Jacob warns though, leave him there no. Jacob's, this is a little article eh? Don't come in. Look at this little thing. But the amount of nonsense packed into here, you my people will be astounded at this gentleman. Let me read it for you all because I have read this 6 times. And the first 3 times I laugh. And the next 3 times I nearly shed a tear. Jacob warns, beware of taste of COVID. Jacob meaning the acting commissioner of police. Citizens are being warned that if they flout public health ordinance regulations, they may get a taste of COVID and not the taste of carnival that they want to experience. So you are a doctor now, use Abdul Richards, use what? If they flout the regulations, they're supposed to get a taste of the law, not a taste of COVID. You is the law, you is not the doctor, you is not the Alsing, you is not the COVID committee, you is not Avery Hines, Dr. Hines. But he continued, speaking with the Express, Acting Commissioner of Police McDonald Jacobs said he had taken note of reports and pictures circulating on social media of partygoers refusing to keep their masks on and not appearing to adhere to COVID-19 social distancing protocols. Oh, it's a law. But the Commissioner of Police, who could watch that boy? What is that? Trinidad Flash? Who could look fat? Let me take note, yes. Bacchanal, no mask, crossing stage, pods not good again, people celebrating, man whining on woman, woman whining on man, man whining on man, old mask. Okay, I take note. That's what this man said, the Commissioner of Police, the Acting Commissioner of Police. He continued, the instances are unfortunate. It's unfortunate or it's illegal? You are the Commissioner of Unfortunate or you are the Commissioner of Police? He said the incidents were unfortunate. Then we continue, no? Where I reach, boy? He said he took note, right? Refusing to keep their mask on and not appearing to adhere to COVID-19 social distancing protocols. The instances are unfortunate, but they do not show the whole story. So now he's not the commissioner of police. He is now a storyteller. He is now going to be an advocate for lawbreakers. I am not joking with you all, and I'm reading. We'll go in the Express and read it for yourself. Hear what the commissioner of police who work it is to enforce the law. That he only work. He hear this now. That not the whole story. So he come to tell we why what we see is not what we see, and what was the law is not the law, and what we read is not what we read. But he enforce the law when he feel to, and he don't enforce it when he have a story to tell. No joke. All you think I like? Okay, let me read. For instance, the video online of the water party. Now, let me just give you a little background. The water party is down in Chagaramas. It's in John Rahal Water Park. That's Rowley's best friend, Renaissance, chairman of the PNM who get beat. Okay, Rahal. The people who are putting on that party is main man, Tony Chowlenon, PNM. One of the main soca men with him too is Neil Iowa George, my brother, but a PNM. So it's a PNM fact. So now you have the acting commissioner of police who was selected by the PNM, who was selected by Rowley, who came about because of the collapse of the merit list. He had finished 6th on a previous list, and now he's number 1. Now you see what I say is very serious. Let's listen to the Commissioner of Police of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, okay? For instance, the video online of the water party of persons partying and not adhering to the regulations, they do not show the very same artists and the promoters calling on citizens almost immediately after reminding persons to put on their masks and to distance, because if they did not, the event would be shut down. And yes, there were police at the event, but they have to exercise a certain level of discretion. And the promoters were working with us, and they made announcements, and behaviors were adjusted. So he is not only commissioner of police, he is attorney representing PNM promoters. So now it had discretion. And if you work with them, so all of you who got tickets, if you're in a car with your wife and you don't have, you take off your mask. You could have discretion. You could have worked with the police and say, well, okay, I pull up my mask, no ticket. Do you understand the nonsense? Archie, just remind us what this man is defending, you know. For you all who will see it, but I'm sure all you see it. And don't get me wrong, you know. I wish it had no health regulations and no COVID and no PNM, and we had been safe and no porous borders, and we could have go and balance and have fun in every single party, every panyard, because carnival, I love it. But I know the law, I read the law, so I had to keep my douglAr carnival loving self home. But look what DCP attorney for PNM promoters say. Actually run it, please.
You know chapter 88 or 3? No, we are dealing with. No, we are not dealing. We're dealing with the right to peaceful ticketing. Do you know that law? No. Do you know that law? I have it. Right to peaceful ticketing. Check it. Chapter 8803.
2022 will not see street parades. Unvaccinated gatherings. And wild public partying.
Boss Rich.
Para
Dr. Keith, Christopher Rowley. I looking at you, Mr. Rowley. You be the devil, boy. You see when it come to this safe zone with this carnival fete? I hope you give them an hour and a half just like you gave the church and the temple and the mosque. You know. I am going to tell you this in your face right now. You had to be the devil. You had to be the devil, brother. What is good for Peter is good for Paul. Mr. Rowley, shame on you. Shame on you.
A total disregard for the public health measures. It was sad. I pulled aside and I literally, a tear came to my eye.
And listen to the Commissioner of Police. Acting Commissioner of Police, McDonald Jacobs, said he had taken note of the reports and pictures, but they did not show the whole story. The instances are unfortunate, but they do not show the whole story. For instance, the video online of the water party of persons partying and not adhering to the regulations, they do not show the very same artists and promoters calling on citizens almost immediately after reminding persons to put on their masks and to distance, because if they did not, the event would be shut down. And yes, there were police at the event, but they have to exercise a certain level of discretion. And the promoters were working with us. The artists were working with us. The PNM was working with you. But let me tell you something, my black youths, because this black man put there by the black PNM, because all they say the Indian gave you banana, while he was making excuse, and he's the attorney for Chowlenon and Rahal Water Park, he was shutting down zest little parties in neighborhoods across Trinidad and Tobago with big guns and reinforcements, with baton and lock up 48 people charged for little parties in areas. But here the areas, my black brothers, my black sisters, my black people. They shut down in Enterprise. They shut down in Peytonville, Arima. They shut down Samaru village. They shut down, the police came down without discretion, and no promoter, no DJ said, hey, put on your mask. In St. Paul Street, they cracked down in Curep, they cracked down in Mova. But this commissioner of police, who got there because Rowley did not like the merit list, comes to embarrass the entire police force, the police service, with this nonsense, when anybody with eyes could see that it was lawlessness, it was anarchy, it was madness across the board. But come in here close, because state-sanctioned lawlessness, because in this one in Queen's Hall, look there, this one in Queen's Park Savannah, where the PNM NCC says it's a safe zone, look at PNM failed Sawa Barataria candidate, the Balize Juice Brew, Morning Brew, JW, no mask on. Tony Chowlenon, no mask on. All here, no mask on. But for the people, for police, for DCP dance, all of this, not a mask in that 200 people there on the stage. He say, that is okay. But this, yes, my black people, when they tell you vote, race, vote, because this was illegal. But the Bacchanal was not. And then there was Keith Scotland, a member of the government. He was in Queen's Hall. While people were being, police were sent 6 police jeeps, 7 police jeeps to stop a peaceful picket outside Paria, where people wanted information on dying divers, people in peril. The police come to mash up, break up and arrest. But a wake fete was going on with a member of Parliament, Keith Scotland, member of Port of Spain South, and the place went wild. Mask come off, pod's not good again. Run it, Archie, awake.
summary open. You want to know the requirements of the act.
You know chapter 88 or 3? No, we are dealing with we are not dealing with the right to peaceful ticketing. Do you know that law? No, you know that law? I have it. Right to peaceful ticketing. Check it. Chapter 8803.
And they had another one there that Vishnu did with a wake. If you have it, play it. Show the thing. Yeah, have it, all right. But he took his time to do it. If you find it in a while, put it on. But here we have a picture coming close. Look, Keith Scotland. Yes, he have on his mask. But in this party, in this awake, right? Look him there. Right here, Keith Scotland, man. PNM. Breaches. People wiling up, come to the stage, everything mash up. Well, all right. And then here the Guardian. Let's have a safe last lap. Guardian see all of that activity. Unequal disposition of the law. Laws for some but not for others. Breaches by the government of their own government health regulations. The people like Keith Scotland, who's a lawyer in the PNM, make and draft the regulations and then go to FET while we have to stay home because we read the regulations and we respect the law. But them could do what they want. So the elites could party and FET under the supervision of this one. And you could discuss with them and have discretion. But when you're poor and you're black, you get locked up and charged. Poor people to pay a ticket that Keith Scotland and Al-Rawi and them make. And Al-Rawi was in wedding earlier and they break the law across the board. Right now, all the regulations, all the PNM bogus regulations must be disbanded, must be rejected, must be thrown away. They have no moral authority to ensure that anybody must obey those laws because you have chosen the law must be for all. Nobody must be above the law. And therefore all the health regulations and everyone, all you're running down school to charge he 28 police sent by he to run in school house. Me and care if school is a PNM, right is right and wrong is wrong. You wear the 28 police to run up in Keith Scotland and them house in the Awake or in Gypsy and Randall Mitchell house and those at NCC for breaching those regulations with FET after FET and wine. Boy, even Iowa had something on a Monday night. Well, I didn't even know grandson could hold so much people without mask. And some of all your young ladies, Lord help all you. I mean, I's not no prude, but all you overdoing, and you like you all you didn't wear mask, you didn't wear clothes. But run it, Awake, where Keith Scotland.
We need to break up this thing, peaceful protest, to get information. Yet in Queen's Hall, next door to the Prime Minister, where a big fete is taking place since this morning.
Coming down, we have the greatest show on the earth. We welcome the King and Queen of Carnival.
The event, the cabana now good again. When these drinks flow and the soca mash up, cabana, them went mastana banana, and that is while I'm making joke of a very serious thing. This cannot be right. If we back to front in this country, total oppression, and then you see these police didn't have discretion when they arrest 12 people on Friday outside the parliament for protesting the Minister of Bundles and the Ministry of Education and the systemic demise of the education system. They were arrested. Where was the discretion? Where were they working with the police? How the people were separated? They had on their masks? No, they were arrested. What about the police harass one man making a protest? He's suing them now from Debe Water Park. What about the police harassing Saddam and Khadija? Way back when there was a walkabout and this PNM policewoman was talking with such hatred in her tone, and I showed you all it. And what about the protesters in the savannah getting tear gas and so on? Where was the discretion? So people who are praying, singing gospel and saying Rowley must go, socially separated, they get tear gas from this one. But when PNM promoters having fed down in Aqua Park, down in Rowley constituency and breaching every rule, every regulation and putting everybody life at risk, He is their attorney. He making excuse for them. He is creating reasons why they did not or should not be charged and making discretion. Y'all really find that's correct? Well, okay, if you all find so. But there's a independent senator, Paul Richards. Actually, he posted something on Facebook today. Put it up there for me now. This is Paul G. Richards. The last time I checked, Paul G. Richards is an independent senator in the Senate of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But he posed this today. So, question. Asking for a friend. Pause. Independent senator, you don't need to ask for a friend. You have a job. You are paid with taxpayers' money to represent 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago in the Senate of the Republic. You can ask the question. You can ask the question in all sorts of forms. You can ask an urgent question, a question on notice. You can bring a motion on the adjournment to attack and to show that the government is irresponsible. But you choose not to do that, independent Senator Paul Richards. You choose not to do your job, but you come on Facebook to ask for a friend. Who is your friend? If you pay NCC and have your event in the grandstand, you don't have to observe health protocols. Paul Richards, just resign and come out. Now, if you don't want to do the people work, you are an embarrassment to the independent bench. That is, you have the opportunity to ask and bring the government to task. You could have asked about that when we were talking about our speaking time and why is it being thwarted in a whole big red house that we could socially separate and behind glass and with masks. You voted to cut your own speaking time. You voted for laws that bring oppression. You voted and you kept and you didn't speak up when they were telling us that we could love up with we significant other, we wife or we husband, and then we had to put mask on in the car. You don't speak up. You don't question. You don't criticize the government. You come on Facebook to put up a stupid post. Paul, give me a chance now, Paul Richards. Shame on you. You are an independent senator in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Is not a PNM? Oh, sorry. Darkness consumes Trinidad and Tobago. As I started, so shall I end. As I say, rest in peace, Kazem Ali, Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa. Neil Gosain writes in The Guardian, printed March 2nd, page 19. Darkness consumes TNT. The incompetence witnessed here is unprecedented, as lives were at stake. This is unacceptable, as many citizens watched in horror while the inevitable news came of the deaths of the 4 underwater divers. It is just a travesty, and words cannot explain, and what the families are going through at this point. Neil Gosain continued, we continue to see one travesty after another, and in this case, that decision caused 4 hard-working men to lose their lives. Families have lost their loved ones, their breadwinners, their fathers, their husbands. And we just cannot take this anymore. We must reject this inaction of the administration strongly, as darkness continues to consume our islands. Neil Gosain. And this darkness is palpable. You could feel it. It's all across every nook and cranny of our democracy. We are in the throes of a depression and oppression by a dictatorial, tyrannical oppressor. A man who has dragged the flag, Keith Christopher Rowley, from the darkness. He brought the darkness upon us. If the media was searching for the truth, they would never have allowed the population to elect a man who said this about a previous prime minister, a man who boasted, who did not have the caliber and the class while another human being was ailing and fighting for his life, a man who was so myopic, so vindictive, so selfish, so dastardly that he would celebrate the demise of another human being. From the darkness came, Keith Rowley, and he has brought the darkness all over Trinidad and Tobago. It is not funny. Archie, please remind the people of what the mass media allowed to take the helm of our country, allowed to sit in the office of the Prime Minister. Listen carefully to Keith Rowley and the darkness that he pervades.
I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall very close to Lekoto. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it. Remember I was in the cabinet? I took issue over the behavior of Calder Hart and UDCOP. And what happened to me? I was put out of the cabinet. The person who put me out regretted it.
A man who boasted about putting a spirit lash on another human being fighting for his life. A man who boasted about delving in the dark arts. A man who would stand there with his disciples of evil cheering him on, speaking about someone who had led him, a human being fighting for his life. That man you voted for, and now the darkness has covered and envelops our entire nation. You all know that I am not the most spiritual, but my mother was. And I am getting a sense across this country that he who dances with the devil brings darkness wherever he goes. So when you question the darkness that is about Trinidad and Tobago in every sphere, evil pervading and controlling without respite, you must understand where it came from and where its genesis is. Keith Christopher Rowley boasted about being and passing through Lekoto to deal with Patrick Manning. And you voted for that evil. But the light will beat evil. The light will conquer darkness. The light that shines through all of you out there, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, of all races, ethnicities, religion. All of you praying women out there and you praying people, pray, because our country must overcome this darkness. The light must shine and the sun must rise. This evil cannot continue. All good people unite. Good night.
No, today would be our last. That I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe.
I want to provide a bit of my experience now. I am an ICT process engineer. I've been working in the energy sector privately for about 25 years. We've supported operations like these from a digital infrastructure perspective, but I have access to several experts in terms of investigations of these nature. And over the weekend, I would have reached out to quite a bit of them to get some of their perspectives as well. Where the event happened, it's on a berth with a pipeline which is about 400 meters in length, is about 1,200 feet. Now this line is used to take fuel from the ships that Paria is purchasing fuel from onto their tank farms. So what would have happened over the last few months, an observation would have been made of something on the pipeline that had a cause for concern. So because of that eventuality, whether it was a crack, a leak, a deterioration on the line subsea, something would have been red flagged and the company would have said, well, look, we need to go and repair this. So what happens then is that an investigation is done by the company's experts, in-house experts, and say, well, look, we need to do some welding, we need to do some patching and so on. And a job scope would have been created, go out for tender or 2 or 3 vendors locally and so on. And then somebody would have been selected to do the job. Now, this is what a progressive modern company does. I do not know if this is what Paria does, but I can tell you what, in my experience, a progressive company does. There is 2 types of safety stand-downs. There's something called a toolbox, which is on a low-end case. You have to run a wire, change a bulb in the organization. There's a toolbox meeting. Everybody talks. We talk about the job. The job gets done. Somebody called a performing authority or somebody who's in charge of the area signs off, give you the approval to go and do it. Now, in this particular case, where you have subsea welding, you must have a specialist contractor who has the experience in this type of job. This type of job requires what you call a L2 safety briefing. What is an L2 safety briefing? A risk assessment is done at the highest level. So key companies with relevant technical experience that works with their HSE department would sit with the contractor and say, okay guys, these are the known risks for the job that you're doing. Explain to me exactly what you're going to do. And the company sits in a briefing, a round table meeting, and they say, all right, we're going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The companies come and say, well, look, these are the risks associated. What will be the mitigation? Paria, as the owner of the asset, remember the contracting company doesn't own the TRT, what you call the tactical response unit. It doesn't own the emergency systems and so on. So Paria has to be in that conversation as well. Now, there's 2 important things in an L2 briefing. One, there is a list that is created, which is called the list of what scenarios, where they start saying, okay, from experiences all over the world, if this happens, this is what you execute. If that happens, that is what you execute. So that is discussed at that meeting as well. The company says, yes, our TRT is ready. If a welder gets damaged subsea, this is how we will chopper him off to the hospital. Is there a vessel on the ocean waiting to pick up an injured worker? All these things are discussed at an L2 meeting. What if scenario happens? That is discussed like a tabletop exercise. So at the end of the exercise, the contractor who is doing the work is fully aware of what is in place in the event of an emergency. The thought process of how we're going to deal with any issue is trashed out at that meeting. And the company decides, yes, we have all these things in place. Now, mind you, the reports on social media said that almost 12 hours after, they were still standing like Alice in Wonderland, trying to figure out what to do. We hold that there for there. So the contractor gets the all clear to go and do the work. The next morning, the job requires the divers to go down. A bell, or what you call a diving bell, comes and it is placed right over the point where the work has to happen. So it creates a little compressed zone of air where the divers can take out their gears, take a little air, go down, do their work and so on. Now, we do not know, because an investigation has not been made as to what was the nature of the opening on the line. Now, before you work on any line or any live line, there's something called a SIMOPS. A SIMOPS is a simultaneous operation risk assessment. So while the divers are working on the pipeline, the L2 risk assessment would have determined what other action is happening simultaneously while these fellas working. And on social media, there were reports that there was an excavator working on some line and there were some other activities happening at the tank farm. The question is, when you determine all these simultaneous operations happening, what is the pending risk of each activity to the action at the subsea level? That is something that has to be done prior to the work. The other thing that would be asked is, what are we going to do with the line on the morning of the work? So questions pop up here as well. What was the reason that the line wasn't totally shut down? And the reason why I say that, these lines is just not an open line. These lines have monitoring equipment built in. They have pressure sensors. They can tell the speed and the flow of the fuel. They can slow it down. They can throttle down. All these things are done via process control. Now, why use a plug? So that's a question that has come up. If these lines have all these sensors and you can control, why you couldn't turn it off? It brings to mind the question, are these systems working? Were these pieces of equipment maintained? Did the company decide, well, listen, if we shut this thing down, we might be able to bring it back up? So you know what? Let us put a plug. So what is this plug, Kieran? There's something called a temporary plug, and I'm going with what has been reported on social media, and I'm factoring that in. This is a plug that is placed in the line, and it creates a barrier. So remember, this line is pressured on both sides. They put the plug, so it releases the pressure where the divers are doing their welding. And they're in this bell, so that's a little pressure zone there. They're working on the pipe. It is our feeling from the experts who I've spoken to that the plug that was used failed. And when the plug failed, what you have is the entire Gulf of Paria trying to rush into that pipeline at about 4,000 pounds per square inch. Now, there's a calculation for what you call delta P. It works at about, for every 10 inches of diameter, you're looking at about 1,700 psi. So this is a 30-inch line with an opening that is wide enough for a full-bodied man with a tanker to slip into. When that plug failed, the rush of the pressure of the Gulf of Paria trying to go into that line to push out into the tank farm, it sucks everything in its way in. And those guys, and the thing about what you call the vortex in the delta P, the vortex is invisible. So a diver in a subsea activity is swimming along the line. There could be a crack on the line, and he will never see a vortex, a swirl. It's only when he reaches up on that crack that will suck him straight onto the pipeline and hold him there until the pressure is released. In choosing a plug for a 30-inch pipeline, the person or the vendor that is supplying that plug has to be sure, and this would have come out in the L2 risk assessment that I referred to. If we're going to use a plug, what is the rating for the plug? Can the plug withstand 5,000 psi, pounds per square inch? When last was that plug tested or rated, and who supplied it? So those are questions that would have come up in an L2 briefing the day before the activity. So just stick a pin there for a second. So Mr. Budram got out, and he was able to knock somebody, comes in, get him, and he said, guys, we need to go back down there. The Paria folks says, well, no, we can't go because we don't understand what's happening there. We will not risk anybody else's life. But this is where the L2 risk assessment would have solved that problem. The L2 risk assessment would have identified a ruptured line, a vortex. What do we do? What levers do we pull? Now, this is nothing strange. When a pilot in a plane at 40,000 feet in the air gets 3 indicator lights, the pilot doesn't know everything. He pulls his manual, his what if scenario manual, and he flips to the page. And he says, if you get a blue light, a red light, and a green light, press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to clear. If the L2 risk assessment was properly done, or if one was done, that would have been the trigger, the lever for the incident commander on the site to trigger right away. Clearly, that didn't happen. And as I said, after 8 to 12 hours, they were all standing in their shoes trying to figure out what to do. Because in my respectful view, no L2 meeting may have been done to measure the risk assessment for this particular incident. It comes back down to what my gut on this thing is that Paria has been caught sleeping, and I made a comment yesterday that when you have Heritage and Paria, Heritage boasted $1.1 billion after tax profit last year. That was Heritage. Paria had $238 million after tax profit. I would be very interested to see what has been their spending on health and safety over the last few years. In 2018, Kiran, I stood in the parliament and I raised a matter about Heritage and Paria and the fact that I had issues in the Petrotrin field in Galeota where there was a fire station down there with no fire tender, no ambulance. There were 5 firemen posted and they had a van and 5 fire extinguishers, one for each one of them. And I raised this matter, say, how can you have an entire field without a fire tender, with men with a van and 5 fire extinguishers? And I said, that couldn't be right. And you are cutting health and safety. I have had a report for the Petrotrin field in Galeota where there's supposed to be 9 supervisors, electrical supervisors. For the entire field, you had 2. So in 2018, I asked about the compromising of health and safety. Now today, I want to refer you to a matter last year when there was a ruptured tank and millions of gallons of water flooded. I think it was either Labrador or Point Fortin, one of them. And that is a tank that would usually have fuel or oil. And the excuse was that the containment on the tank failed, not the tank. But come on, the containment for these facilities is only 1/3 of the volume. And let me tell you, the tank was ruptured. So the question came up, are we maintaining those tanks? I want to know if these 2 companies, Heritage and Paria, is more interested in posting beautiful after-tax profits by cutting back on health and safety and the cost to maintain those pieces of equipment. And if that is the case, why are the managers of this company, and I can tell you, I know a few of them personally in both Heritage and that Paria, and I know they come from the industry where health and safety culture is paramount. So I'm very disappointed that this could have happened under their watch. And the question I have as well is the board, which is taking a directive from the government, more interested in posting profits to show that the split up of Petrotrin is working rather than spending on health and safety to protect the lives of employees. And lastly, Kiran, what other systems have been compromised in these companies by a lack of spending on HSC and put your sons and daughters as the next tragic incident waiting to happen in either of these 2 operations? And that is my take on what's happening.
Didn't know today would be our last, or that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. You're not really gone as long as I believe.